Was hoping for kind of a flashy intro, so let's try this one. I'm Christine Moore, and I'm here to tell you all about the home buying process. Don't know if I'll use that. Hi, it's Christine. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I am going to talk about the home buying process from start to finish. This is really important for first-time home buyers who have never purchased a house before. They might not understand exactly what steps are involved, so I really wanted to break it down step by step and talk about all the different steps on your road to buying a home.
You in the market to buy a house? It's a great time to buy.
There are eight steps to the home buying process. So, you're ready to buy a home. Maybe you're tired of renting, tired of dealing with roommates and landlords. Maybe your parents are just a little sick of seeing your face during quarantine and they're ready for you to get out of the house once and for all. But if the time is right for you to buy a house, the very first step you're going to take is number one, meet with a real estate professional. I just so happen to be a real estate professional, so this is something I feel confident telling you all about. Think of your buyer's agent like your personal tour guide. They're gonna walk you through this process. They're gonna make sure you don't get lost. You know, you wanna buddy up. Make sure you have someone really looking out for you, and that's gonna be your buyer's agent. I went over the importance of a buyer's agent in a previous video. I'm gonna link that down in the description. You can find your buyer's agent in a variety of ways, either by referral. Sometimes if you request a tour on a site like Zillow or Trulia, you can get connected with a buyer's agent that way. Or sometimes, depending on your online activity, a potential buyer's agent might reach out to you. But getting that person on board with you is the very first step towards home buying. Step number two, get a pre-approval. A pre-approval is when you go to your mortgage lender or your bank to discuss your financial situation and determine how much you can spend on a house. They're going to take into account several things: your current earnings, your credit score, and any other outstanding debts you might currently have. Getting a pre-approval is when you're going to be getting your finances in order. You know, if you're buying a home, especially around here in New Jersey, you're going to be spending upwards of $300,000, and most of us don't have that kind of cash just lying around. If you do, there is still paperwork you're gonna need to get, but for sake of argument, you're gonna need to get a pre-approval. This is very important. I'm probably gonna say that about every step in the process, but no, getting a pre-approval is actually incredibly important, and I'm gonna tell you why. Obviously, because this is a video about the different steps in the home buying process, I'm gonna tell you why. It's important to get this ahead of time so you have a really clear picture of what your finances are before you buy a house, and so you don't get your hopes up and you have realistic expectations about the kind of houses you can be looking for. If you feel like maybe your budget is about $400,000, but you go in to get your pre-approval and they only pre-approve you for $350,000, that's a good thing to know before you start going out and looking at $400,000 houses.
Yeah, I'm 20. I can't afford this place.
A lot of real estate agents, especially right now during COVID times, are gonna ask you for that pre-approval up front before they'll even take you out on showings. That's for your benefit and ours. Like I said, we don't want you to be wasting your time on houses you can't afford. Another reason you're gonna want your pre-approval right away is if you find a house you really like and there's a lot of other interest on that house, you may wanna move really quickly, and having that pre-approval in place and having had that conversation with your lender is going to enable you to put an offer together really quickly. And that's something you might need to do. Step number three, search for homes. Technically, this is step 3, but let's be honest, you've already probably gotten the search underway at least a little bit. Everyone likes to get on Zillow and search for houses in their area, even ones they maybe can't afford, but you like to see what's out there. Those online search tools like Zillow and Realtor.com are really awesome resources for searching for homes in your area. There are, of course, a few downsides to Zillow. The main one is that it's an information aggregator, so the information you're seeing on Zillow is coming from different sites where that information is posted directly, specifically the multiple listing service, or MLS. The multiple listing service is an online database where realtors go to post the homes they have for sale. These are all managed by the different region they're in. For instance, where I live and work, I use both Garden State MLS and New Jersey MLS. So we have access to the back end of these MLS websites, and we can see specific things that a typical client can't see, such as the listing agent's information, some of the remarks, some of the history of the listing. If you find a house that you're interested in, you can let us know about it, and we'll be able to look it up in that MLS and let you know a little bit more about the home that you maybe can't see from that front-facing website like Zillow. This is also the step where you're gonna actually go out and start going to tours and maybe some open houses.
Oh my God. Look at him crop dusting across your open houses. It's a disgrace.
He farted in my open house.
You sure did.
You know what, guy? I like it, but I'm thinking it might be a little bit small.
Totally, and it smells like fart.
Right now, COVID times, it does look a little bit different, but typically what you're gonna do is meet with your realtor and view the house. Now, as I discussed in my buyer's agent videos, most of the time, if your realtor's taking you to a house, they've actually never seen it before because they're there representing you and not the house. So just something to bear in mind. When I open that door, a lot of the time, it's my first time seeing that house as well. So we're going through this together. Just think of it that way. Step 4. Make an offer.
Make them an offer they can't refuse.
So once you find a house you really like, you're gonna make an offer on it. You're gonna get together with your realtor and discuss 2 things: price and terms. The price, obviously, that's the amount of money you're willing to pay for the house. Depending on the house, you might go above or below the listing price, but you're gonna discuss with your realtor what you're able to pay and what you want to pay for that house. The terms entail a couple of things like the closing timeline, the type of financing you're gonna be offering, and any other special conditions you might want to include in the offer, such as waived inspection, waived appraisal, things like that. Honestly, the terms are gonna factor in to the decision just as much as price in most cases. Is the seller underwater on the house and they need to sell it quickly, and so they really want a quick turnaround, and that's going to be a huge priority to them? Do they not want to deal with all the things that come along with financing, and so maybe they're going to take an offer that has more money down and less money financed? There are a lot of factors that go into what the seller is going to ultimately choose. So you're going to discuss with your realtor all the different ways you can make your offer as appealing as possible to that seller. 5, negotiation and contract.
We are prepared to make you a very generous offer.
And we are prepared to reject that offer.
Michael, you haven't even heard.
Never accept their first offer.
Now, this is the part in the movie where you sit down across the table and you write a number on a piece of paper, slide it across the table real smooth. Ultimately, what it really looks like in real life, it's really just kind of a volley back and forth that happens in an email inbox. It's usually not quite as dramatic as that, but it can also be a really nerve-wracking part of the process if you're just kind of waiting to hear back and see if your offer was accepted. And if it was, do they give you a counter offer? Do they just reject it out of hand and you've got to try something else? Now, so much of this is actually going to be handled not just by your realtor, but by your attorney. This is specific to New Jersey. I have to admit, I don't really know what goes on in other states as part of this process, but in New Jersey specifically, all of these terms and all of this negotiation, while you're going to be discussing it with your realtor, the actual letters and communication that's provided goes through the attorney. So don't worry too much. They're going to put it in nice legalese that sounds good and professional. And once the deal is agreed upon, we make it to step 6. I'm running out of hands to do this. I'm wondering if I maybe shouldn't have used my hands for this. Okay, I'm just gonna switch to numbers on the screen. Step number 6, in escrow, or as we say in New Jersey, under contract. Your offer's been accepted, it's gone through the negotiations, you've settled on something with the seller, and now the house is yours, barring any unseen complications. You might still see your house up for sale on some of these sites, but it'll say under contract or contingent, something like that. Don't stress too much about it, just figure they can look, but they can't touch.
Hey boys, you can look, but you can't touch. Squeak, 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 squeak.
Now, this whole under contract period, there's a lot of things up in the air. You're really gonna wanna check your contract and discuss with your attorney if you have any questions during this time. I don't wanna be telling you information that might not be accurate. As I continue to say in a lot of my real estate videos, I am not a lawyer, but this is the part in the process where everything is more or less set, and getting out of the transaction at that point becomes a little bit more complicated.
You will lose $7,000 if you walk away right now.
Step number 7, final details. This is where your inspection comes in. There are a lot of final details you're going to be addressing. The home appraisal, if that's something you're doing, the home inspection, which you should absolutely be doing, check out my video here about home inspections where I really get in depth on that. And you're going to be finalizing your loan with your mortgage broker or your bank. A lot of things are going to be happening, but just bear in mind the transaction isn't closed and you don't own that house until you officially get to the closing table. Step 8, I kind of just talked about it, closing. If you made it to the closing table and you sign those papers, the house is officially yours. It has happened the last 2 months or however long, probably up to a year if you've been searching for a really long time. It's all over. You finally relax. The transfer of funds and the transfer of the ownership of the house is finally complete and you own your home officially. Get your keys, throw yourself a party. Honestly, claps all around. I'll be honest with you, I don't own a home, so I'm legit jealous. That's it, the home buying process in 8, I like to think easy to understand steps. The whole thing can seem really overwhelming when you're first getting started, but I hope this video was informative and helped you understand what the process really looks like from start to finish. If you have any other questions about home buying, especially in New Jersey, please feel free to leave a comment in the comments section below, or you can send me an email. My email address should be down there in the description. Just scroll on down, it's in there. And friendly reminder, I'm still trying to grow my YouTube channel, so if you could give this video a like, that's always appreciated. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Looks like this, kinda, because that really helps grow my channel and because it just feels good. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you next week. Bye! And there are a lot of steps in the process. It's fine. Everything's fine.